Uy! Hello! In this video, we'll make 1,000 case digest. I know. We're gonna dive in to the rule of 10710 of criminal procedure, which is motion to quash. Under the rules of criminal procedure, we will explain what it is, when and how it's filed, the grounds and its effect according to law. So let's dive in. But before we start, I am the Jury of Gonzaga, BS Crim 4A. So let's start. So before we dig deep to the sections of Rule 117, let's understand first what is motion to quash. Motion to quash is a procedural remedy by which the accused asks the court to dismiss or quash the complaint or information before entering plea, on the basis that the charging of information or document suffers from legal or factual defects. It challenges the validity of the complaint or information itself, not the evidence. So understand when to file. It must be filed before arraignment. Once the accused pleads guilty or not guilty, they usually lose the right to question the validity of the complaint or information. So let's proceed to the section 2, form and contents. The motion must be in writing, signed by the accused or the counsel. It must be directly specify the factual and legal grounds upon which the motion is based. The court shall not consider any ground not stated in the motion except the ground of lack of jurisdiction over the offense charge. Let us know what are some common grounds for a motion to quash. This includes the facts charged do not constitute offense. The court has no jurisdiction. There is double jeopardy, or there is no authority to file the case. If this exists, the case can be dismissed early. So let's proceed to the section 4, amendment of the complaint or information. If the defect in the complaint or information is curable by the amendment, the court shall order that amendment be made. The motion should be denied if the prosecution corrects the defects, unless after the amendment the complaint or information still suffers from the same similar defect. Let's proceed to section 5, effect of sustaining motion to quash. If the motion to quash is granted, the court may order a new or amendment complaint or information be filed, unless the ground for quashing cannot be corrected, like double jeopardy, that the accused won't be automatically released if another charge may still be filed for the same act. So, and section 6, order sustaining the motion to quash not a bar to another prosecution. A dismissal due to a motion to quash does not prevent another prosecution for the same offense, except there's an exception, except when the dismissal was based on double jeopardy, extinction of criminal liability, for example, like pardon or prescription. In this section, section 7 explains when the accused has been convicted or acquitted of an offense, or the case was dismissed without his consent, he cannot be prosecuted again for the same act or offense. This is the rule on double jeopardy. Section 8, let's proceed to section 8, amendment of the complaint or information. Amendment of the complaint or information. If the defects is only formal or curable, the court should allow the prosecution to amend the complaint or information instead of dismissing the case. But if the defects cannot be fixed, for example, no offense is actually charged, then the dismissal is proper. Proceed to the last section of Rule 11710, section 9, failure to move to quash effect of waiver. If the accused does not file a motion to quash before pleading or arraignment, he waives all possible grounds except for number 1, the facts charged do not constitute an offense. The court has no jurisdiction over the offense. And number 3, the offense or penalty has been extinguished. Nawala na. And number 4, double jeopardy. That's it! To sum up, Rule 117 gives the accused a chance to test the legality of the charging document before pleading. The motion must be in writing, specific, and timely filed. As Section 1, some grounds are waivable, some are not. If a defect is curable, the court must allow amendment first. A successful motion may lead to dismissal or refiling. Even if denied, the accused can still raise non-waivable grounds later, such as jurisdiction or double jeopardy. That's it. That's our topic for today. Please like and share. God bless. Bye-bye.